call the meeting to order. Can you take the roll, Crystal?
Councilmember Schneider,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Fitzgerald is absent, Councilmember Alvarez,
Here.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Stokes,
Here.
Councilmember Todd. Here. Councilmember Saper.
Here.
And I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance if I was the first one.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody want to approve the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion approved. I think we can skip over the ceremonial items for now.
Comments from the public?
Yeah? Oh, yeah, comments from the public.
Hello there, Valerie Swearingen, 24-8 Fayette. I've passed these out. If you have a city calendar, next Saturday, April 13th, is the Historical Society quarterly meeting. Wanted to bring it to your attention. Our topic for this month is going to be churches of Northtown. But I also want to say if there's any synagogues, temples, mosques that I don't know about, please let me know. I'm doing research next week at the Missouri Valley Room at the Downtown Library. I'm up to like 25 churches that have been in existence in Northtown for 5 minutes or 50 years, whatever it might be. So I think it'll just be a cool way to see what all's going on there. And then a second, totally going to switch conversations for a second. I saw an idea on Facebook, and I started chatting about it. I know Councilmember Clark piped in that it was a good idea. So I reached out to city staff about doing a resident beautification day in Northtown. I was trying to think of some way to, I think part of it's due to the shooting, how can we make our community safer and make people more aware and know what's going on. So I had the idea of April 27th, that Saturday morning, just kind of making a resident beautification day. Get out, get your yard bags from City Hall, 10 bags for $2. And then just, if your yard's tidy, see if your neighbor needs help or see if an elderly person needs help or a renter that may not have the tools and their landlord's supposed to do it but doesn't do it, needs help, that type of thing. Zero cost to the city, which I know is music to everyone's ears. It would just be to make sure that staff here has enough bags on hand if there's enough interest. Maybe give Public Works a heads up that Wednesday trash pickup or yard waste might be a little heavy. And then I think I'm going to share it on Facebook as an event. So my ask to you all would be is if you could share it from the city page or something, because I know we have business beautification days and we have the Bob Hyatt Beautification Day, which kind of focuses on armor. So I thought adding a day for just the residents, it can't hurt anything. It's kind of just getting everybody together, all races, all spiritual houses, everybody together to do something cool for the city. So I just want to let you know I passed that on to City Administrator and Public Works Director, but just wanted to let you all know that as well. Thank you. I was thinking Saturday, April 27th, 9 in the morning. Not too early, but not too late, so you can have the rest of your day.
Any further comments? And seeing none.
Is that your notes there? Oh, perfect, thank you. All right, no further comments from the public. Perfect, seeing none. Next item, ceremonial items. The proclamation for Local Government Week. Obviously, local government's all around you and always doing great things to keep everything running in this community. And so thank all of our staff that are constantly a part of that. At the end of last meeting, or 2 meetings ago, there's obviously a lot of comments about our public safety telecommunicators, and now it is officially National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. So there we go. Next item, discussion items, is number 8. I'll let you read the rest of them there. Sorry.
Employee survey.
Evening, Mayor and Council. At the last council meeting, it was requested that the employee survey be placed onto the agenda for discussion. In your packet, hopefully you received what the last time, which we did it in 2020, kind of what the questions were and what the outcomes were.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Was there any comments, questions, anything else on the employee survey item? With that, oh, you look like you, no, kind of, maybe?
I think I thought there was a more recent, so I was just kind of thrown when it said 2020. I think I thought that there was a very recent survey that went out to employees, but I was wrong.
So
So
this will be, yeah.
that's all I wanted
This
to
will be the
admit.
one. With that, oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Todd.
I just have a question. How often is the employee survey administered?
So this particular one is usually at the same time as the community and business. So
Okay.
they're kind of a triad.
And is there any other employee staff survey that goes out?
We have had other staff surveys. Typically, they're topic-specific, meaning about our wellness program or kind of other things. This is a blind survey, though, meaning that it's not done in-house.
Right.
So we're hoping that that kind of allows staff members to maybe be a little bit more honest if they felt like a Survey Monkey administered in-house maybe precluded some conversations.
Perfect, thanks.
Councilmember Snyder.
I would suggest doing this at least annually, in like a really easy, quick format. At my place of business, they do it annually. They make it a big deal as far as they give you a prep, they tell you it's coming, they have you fill it out, and they respond. Like they actually do action items based off of what the staff is reporting back. It never feels like something that's extra work for me because I know that they use the information. And I want them to know what I think is working and not working in where I'm working, that I have a say in how things are going, that I have a say in the direction that the company, the city, the district, the whatever is heading. It's not super in-depth like the one that we send out to the citizens. It's kind of quick, and there is a place where you can write comments for anything that's not addressed in those quick items. And it's online, and it's anonymous. And again, I think I don't ever feel burdened by doing it because I know that they compile the data and they really use it.
There we go. Thank you. Further comments? With that, thank you. That one's good. Number 9, please.
Legislative priorities.
All right, so I'll be brief on this one tonight. I know we talked about some resolutions previously, and we've done similar things related to VLT legislation. So it did make me think, rather than writing a bunch of resolutions all the time, these sort of things, we've done a lot, but it might be better to go ahead and, for us at some point, and I just want you all to start thinking about it, would actually do the real work on this probably in coming meetings. Start laying out a whole list of legislative priorities, really. You know, federal legislative priorities, state legislative priorities. You know, it's these sort of things. And, staff goes out and advocates, or I go out and advocate, or someone goes out and advocates in any sort of way. You can say that this is the policy document that the city council supports. And this, I was trying to paperclip something together and print something that wasn't going very successful, which is why it was a few minutes late there. If you just want to pass that all the way around the dais, I was hoping, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 of those. Oh, that'd be perfect because there's one missing. There we go. And I didn't have enough paper clips, and I should have had it stapled. But yeah, no, this is a template. I'm not saying I'm supporting these policies for or against. I haven't even read all these policies, honestly. But if you kind of look at the general format of this, you'll see general legislative priorities, very specific. They have specific priorities that are, more locally focused for Springfield, kind of broken down. And then if you really want to skip to the end, it didn't. Oh, legislative funding request, which is another one. We always talk about grants and everything. So it might be good to have some of these larger projects and things we know we're going to support. And that way staff can go ahead and say, look, they've supported this via passing this sort of legislative priority list. And so tonight, the purpose of tonight was really to do an introduction. And as I find more, I can send them to you all as templates as well. I just kind of want to get this out there so you can take a look, kind of see the idea of where I probably want to go with this, and then come back over the next few meetings and maybe refine what we decide is on the list, if that's good with you all. Any questions, comments, anything on Councilmember Smith?
So how is something like this communicated to lawmakers, like state and whatever other jurisdictions they're requesting? They just like email this document over to?
I mean, certainly we can email them. Obviously, ours now, we've general staff and myself have good relationships with our representatives now. We could hand them to them physically and go over it with them as well. So you can do some expanded bullet points and talk through some of these things a little bit farther. Yes, a lot of different ways you can get it. We have staff contacts with federal legislators as well, if not direct contacts. So a lot of different ways to get those out. And I pulled this obviously right from their website as well. So another place we can have it listed out as well. Sorry, did that answer your question? There's a lot of different
Yeah.
ways. I mean, you can do direct meetings. When I go to these conferences and stuff at DC, it'd help because we'll sometimes meet directly with these folks. Kansas City, obviously, a much larger city like Springfield, will come with like 5,000 pages sometimes of all this stuff, and it's a lot. But it'd be good to have a 1 or 2 pager that you can kind of go over real quick and be like, here it is. This is what the whole governing body supports.
Sure.
And be able to hand that to them, or sometimes, obviously, you can't meet with them. You're meeting with their staff sometimes. But yeah. So there you go. Just a way for us to get our policy priorities out there and have some sort of voice in legislation and things happening. Any further questions? Councilmember Saper.
Is there any way, once we do this, that we could coordinate that with other municipalities, especially in the Northland?
Yeah, and what I can further send you as well, and it was like 30 pages, so I didn't print it. I'll send you the Kansas City one. What it appears they do is also take some and kind of endorse other organizations' kind of priorities. So the regional chamber already has legislative priorities. I'm assuming the EDC probably does. You kind of look at these organizations; they have priorities. So you can piggyback on those as well and say, well, we also support these. Another one I will send you is the Missouri Municipal League resolutions, basically book. They've got a lot of things they support and don't support, and I can forward you that in a PDF version as well to kind of take a look at, and that can help guide some of that as well. Because yeah, a lot of these won't be unique things, but it would be good to also get into some of the unique things that are unique to us and how those would apply to us as well. Helps with education always of legislators, and also when they have to speak on items, it's always good to have specifics as well. So hoping to help them in their work as well. Good. All right, so we will continue on this, but yeah, I wanted everyone to start kind of kicking around some ideas, and this is a work in progress, so I'll work on the rest of the format in the coming weeks.
Can I ask one more
Yes,
question?
please.
Just to be clear, this is just an example that you've printed, not the exact items, but an example of what you would like to produce?
Just
with
an
the
example,
items?
yes.
Okay.
I would say a layout similar. They also have basically a one-pager I found very last minute as well. And I know there's other cities that usually do a very similar thing.
Okay.
I ran out of time and
No,
Maybe
I
go through, like,
just
50
wanted to make
cities'
sure I
websites,
understood
so-
that correctly.
punched it in Google, and Kansas City and Springfield come up, so we got those examples.
Okay.
Always the easy ones to find. There we go. So we will continue this conversation. Good. Next item, please. Moving along.
Item 10, River North Pike Path Contract.
Who's taking? Nobody wants this one?
The problem that we have come into with the contract with River North, they have stated that they're unable to provide the automobile insurance. And so I did reach out to the insurance company that they sent us, and they won't provide it because it's only a special event permit. They don't have insurance like a policy with them. And then we checked with our insurance company, but they think that it's important that we have that automobile liability in there. So I think we're just kind of at a standstill of where to go from here with the contract.
Okay, so the ask of council tonight is how do we want to handle that? Is the direction there? Okay, do you guys have anything to present on this or any additional? Now, if you do, I'd have you step up here, or no?
Well, I'd like to hear from the city first,
So, okay, so if council has any questions, then Joe is available to answer any questions city council may have for the organization. Councilmember Todd.
Yes, my first question is just how have we handled this in the past? We just didn't have the auto.
We haven't had this issue in the past, like with Northland Festivals. Northland Festivals has a policy, and then they get the special event permit off of their policy. But because River North doesn't have a policy, they won't cover it.
But River North has done this event previously, correct?
Not and received a grant for the $5,000.
Okay, so it's because they're receiving a grant from the city that it's an issue?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Councilmember Smith.
So can you run that back one more time? I don't think I fully processed what the insurance situation is.
Okay, our insurance, who the city gets their liability insurance, I had them look at our contract, and they said the city would be taking on the exposure if River North District does not have the coverage in place. The insurance requirements in the contract, as stated by our attorney, protect the city and do require River North to obtain their own auto liability policy.
An auto liability for what exactly?
I'll let Tom explain that.
It's for the event.
Okay, what are we, like, we're not, this is a bike event, right? Mostly.
All the activities that are going on, et cetera, there will be someone in a car.
I mean, yes, there will be. So what cars are we insuring
Well,
here?
the way they explained it to me is if there was a volunteer
Uh-huh.
that is, and they get in their own personal car, but they're like running to get ice
Yeah,
for the event, and they would hit somebody, we could be held liable
we could be held liable because we gave a $5,000 grant.
because we are a sponsor of the,
Because a person was driving their personal vehicle, assumedly with their own insurance.
yes. And they would go after their own insurance first, they said, but
course.
they would come after because the person that got hit would say, and they would say, we were doing this for the event, I wasn't doing it for my personal.
Uh-huh. And so this is solely because we're putting $5,000 into the event that we would take on liability. That seems bizarre.
We wouldn't have a contract otherwise.
So we have the contract because we're making the
Right.
grant, and the contract then puts us in liability for it.
And there's language in the contract also for indemnification, but as your city's legal counsel, I'd wonder what that would really be worth if the entity doesn't even carry insurance on a regular basis, okay? You have to have assets, there has to be something there to be able to indemnify.
Yeah. So if we're
This is
indemnified,
something that we have required, I want you to know, of everybody else on all other events.
to have the insurance.
Exactly.
Sure. But if we're indemnified per the contract, what's the risk? Like, the risk is that they pierce that contract and sue us
The
anyway?
indemnification is, candidly, I don't know what River North, what assets they may have. I mean, you know, you have to have something, so for indemnification to work.
Oh, mic off. There we go. Councilmember Clark, and then I saw Councilmember Alvarez as well.
Crystal, you mentioned that Northland Festivals had a policy. Is that the missing piece, really? If River North had a policy written up of some sort, then this would negate?
The way his insurance, the lady I spoke with explained to me, said if they already had a policy, they would already have auto liability. And so this would just be a special event, one that they tack on that might cost a little bit more money if we had to up the automobile for the contract. But they don't just provide it for a special event where they don't have another policy.
I'll get one more, and then I have you step up here if you wanted, Councilmember Alvarez.
Yeah, I don't know if this really makes a difference, but even, I was just trying to understand if they're volunteering, they're not under any kind of employment, so it would still apply, right, I guess?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I think all of the people that do, with Northland Festivals, I believe they're all volunteers as well.
So anytime we give any dollar to another organization, we may then become liable for something that happens associated with the event. I mean, Mike brought up a good point. I mean, we sponsored National League of Cities when they were here in town for $5,000, and I don't think we made National League of Cities validate all of this sort of same stuff, but it was a sponsorship.
It was a sponsorship, but I don't think it was what they would consider a special event that has alcohol and has people gathering.
They had plenty of-
Well, I mean, I'm just
Okay.
saying, and National League of Cities probably had an insurance policy that would have covered anything like
But we
that.
didn't. Okay.
I don't know, I'd have to look at it. I don't know if we did or we didn't.
Okay. Well, I told Joe I'd let him come up next, and then we'll, yeah. Well, you guys step all the way up to the mic here. I'm gonna make you get all the way up here. Everyone at home wants to hear what you have to say as well here. Let me make sure you're on here.
Yeah, and I wanted to have some of this back and forth happen before coming up here because I did kind of want to have it explained to me as well. So this was very helpful. The big difference going on here is that our insurer for like a one-day special event can't just tack on like an auto rider, right? So like we would have to have ongoing insurance, but that is possible. And she, big credit to Charmy Robinson at CEK Insurance. She spent a lot of time over the last 48 hours putting this together, but she was able to come up with, if this is what we need to do, to have a 12-month ongoing insurance plan with that automobile insurance attached to it. So I just wanted to have the liability explained before coming up here and describing that. Now, it's 12-month insurance, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive. But the good news on that is that it also covers us for our Fall Fest event, except for the liquor liability. That's a separate thing because we provide our own with the beer 10. That would be a separate cost to us at a later time. But this would be front-loading the activities, just the general activities of both events at once.
You believe you have the solution to this?
Yes.
Now with them?
Yes.
And have we shared that with staff yet? Or-
I just found that out today, what
Okay.
she's able to do. So that's why I was.
So what is our
here to
timing
answer
on
questions.
all of our things we have here? Because we have a short-term conditional use permit, right, next item.
The event's on the 13th. So, I mean, the short-term conditional use permit, you can vote on it totally separate from this.
Got it.
So, if
And the-
he just gets if we can get the COI from her, she's very nice to work with.
So,
I
okay.
Yeah, she said she could turn that
Because
around
we already
pretty
have a
fast.
contract, we already have everything, all that's really done. You don't need any other resolution, no real action from council if they're able to produce what sounds like is hopefully the remaining piece.
Yes,
Yeah,
Then you guys can just resolve.
so,
well, and there is one additional item because part of the contract mentions workers' compensation insurance, which is something that would not be included in this 12-month insurance.
All right.
We can do away, okay. That is what I wanted to find out. I didn't want to make any assumptions on that, but if we can have that addressed
Any
in the
other insurance?
contract before signing it, so,
We got-
okay.
I didn't know.
so
Okay.
all I need is, I can call her in the morning and have her send the COI over.
Yeah, we'll sign off on all that and get it
Okay.
done and turned around, but yeah, I appreciate that.
There we go. So we
Alright.
can mark this as pending resolution very shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Quick.
Councilmember Snyder had one, sorry. Okay, Councilmember Smith.
So back in was it in the fall that we donated towards something? Fall Fest, yeah. And were we a sponsor for that? Were we exposed and didn't know it? Like, is that where we're sitting now?
That was different, what we did in the fall. That was the grant.
I liked what we
That's the 500 through the tourism thing.
Uh-huh.
And, oh, yeah. Yeah, they had what she said.
Yeah.
They had a
Okay.
different style of policy then, is I believe what she said, and I'm not sure exactly what that
Who
means,
is,
but.
I mean,
They-
I want
they
to
would
clear
be
this up
the-
because this is going to keep coming up if we sponsor other things or if we do so. Let's figure out so we don't have to do this again. What needs
One
to
of
be
the
done.
things that we're working with is River North is to do this as a comprehensive year contract. and
Yeah.
It would be all-inclusive.
It's like Fall Fest and
Yeah.
Pint Path.
All the activities,
And have
one
everything
contract.
ready to go. Okay. So the more we can do with shoring that up, the better. Sounds good.
You guys don't like coming to all these council meetings? Always good to see you here. With that, I believe you're good now, right, Crystal? That's okay. I missed it. Did anyone take anything off the consent agenda?
No.
And I guess I should have asked, was there any further comments on that last item? If not, then I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the
Second.
consent agenda.
And then I heard a second. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Number 17, amending an ordinance moving council meetings to the Wednesday immediately following a Tuesday that is an election day. Bill number 7838, ordinance number 9635.
All right, I believe it's Councilmember Snyder that brought this one up. Did you have anything to add to this?
No, I think it would be easier for everyone if we just make this official, and if we need to not do, I mean, we've only done it on the Wednesday after. So if it ever comes up that we can't do that, then make a change.
That was a fantastic description. There we go. Is there a
First
motion?
reading.
First, second.
There's, okay. We had a first.
Who was the first?
Katie.
Katie, I just keep pointing.
Yeah.
One of these 8.
Yeah.
And you got the second as well,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? No. Motion carries.
An ordinance authorizing regular city council meetings that fall on election day to be automatically held on the Wednesday following the first Tuesday and amending section 2.04.010 of the code of the city of North Kansas City, Missouri accordingly.
I move that bill number 7838 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9635.
And second, Councilmember Stokes. Any further comments? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Schneider,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Stokes,
Yes.
Councilmember Todd,
Yes.
Councilmember Saper.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing regular city council meetings that fall on election day to be automatically held on the Wednesday following the first Tuesday and amending section 2.04.010 of the code of the city of North Kansas City, Missouri accordingly.
It's really hard not to read the next items.
Okay, hang on. Item 18, ordinance approving and adopting the Second Amendment to the Employment Agreement of the City Administrator. Bill number 7839, ordinance number 9636.
All right, I believe there's only one amendment to the contract, and that would be the salary, correct? That was all, right? It is the salary increase, it's the annual salary increase, basically, and this is what we do every year on these sort of contracts. I think we did Tom's at the last meeting or the meeting before, so basically exact same motion here.
First reading?
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
An ordinance approving and adopting Second Amendment to Employment Agreement by and between the City of North Kansas City, Missouri, and Michael P. Nichols, City Administrator.
I move that bill number 7839 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9636.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Schneider,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Stokes,
Yes.
Councilmember Todd,
Yes.
Councilmember Saper.
Yes.
An ordinance approving and adopting Second Amendment to Employment Agreement by and between the City of North Kansas City, Missouri, and Michael P. Nichols, City Administrator. I'm hurried. Can't turn the page. Number 19. Number 19 and 20 go together. So number 19 is the art easement agreement with Reach Investment LLC, Bill number 7837, ordinance number 9634, and 20 is the agreement for commission of public artwork with Dana Roma Creations LLC, resolution number 24-022.
All right, so several weeks ago, the Crummet Beautification Committee met, which consists of John Erpelding, Lisa Snyder, Bree Burrows, and with staff support from Kim Nakato and Mike Nichols, and chose the artwork that was in the packet, the mural. The wall to go on is at 1455 Iron Street, which is Summit Heating and Cooling. Reach Investments is the property owner. And this agreement will, as it says, ensure it remains in place without any alterations. There's the brief of that. And the second one, as she said, is the contract with the artist, and the total contract's $20,000. Anything to add or amend to that? That was the basic facts there. Councilmember Snyder.
I just want to say, I think that I hope the Crummet Foundation is able to crank out a lot of projects in the future, because I think it's so cool, the cooperation between the business owners and the city and the foundation, which it's being paid for. So if you're watching from home, it's not coming out of our city pockets, it's coming from that fund. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be a nice, beautiful piece of art for the city.
And post this project, the balance will be, what is it, roughly 170,000? Is that in that realm?
Yeah, we're at 176. We have been told that we will not be receiving an endowment this year.
176 is post this project, right?
Post
Okay.
this
Correct.
project.
Perfect.
Correct. And then there probably will be another consideration for the committee on the established. We are having one of these Merrill Sunset. It's reaching its 5-year anniversary, so there will be some conversations about that.
How to handle those. All right. Good times. We will do that.
The only other thing I meant to add is it's a local artist, which makes it even cooler.
Further comments, questions, concerns? If not, we'll
First
start with the
reading.
ordinance.
Second.
All right, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Whoops. An ordinance authorizing and approving an art easement agreement between Reach Investments LLC and the City of North Kansas City, Missouri regarding the placement of a mural on the west exterior wall of a building located generally at 1455 Iron Street in the City of North Kansas City.
I move that Bill number 7837 be placed on second and final reading and pass as ordinance number 9634.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Schneider?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Stokes?
Yes.
Councilmember Todd?
Yes.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing and approving an art easement agreement between Reach Investments LLC and the City of North Kansas City, Missouri regarding the placement of a mural on the west exterior wall of a building located generally at 1455 Iron Street in the City of North Kansas City.
All right, next item, is there a motion on the resolution?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Approving accounts due and payable by the city through March 29th, 2024. Bill number 7840, ordinance number 9637.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through March 29th, 2024.
I move that Bill number 7840 be placed on second and final reading and pass as ordinance number 9637.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Schneider?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Stokes? Councilmember Todd?
Yes.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through March 29th, 2024.
Thank you. Staff comments.
I believe the only comments tonight are from Director Wood.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and the City Council members. I would like to give you an update on the Hawa Shared Use Path. This is a city-led project that was approved through the budget from last year. And earlier this year, the city had entered into a contract with Wilson Company, our Encore engineer, to develop the construction plans before we can go out for a construction bids. Through the process of developing the preliminary plan, we have discovered that the section, which was originally the North Hawa Shared Use Path that's located between 32nd Avenue and Clark Ferguson, abutting the Macon Park, that area located outside of the fence would not have enough right-of-way to support a shared use path. Part of that was due to the utility posts over there, so without a significant amount of money to relocate the utility posts, we would not be able to establish the shared use path. And also, there are perpendicular parking against the current sidewalk over there. So we'll have to change the perpendicular parking to parallel parkings, then we will lose a significant amount of parking spaces. So, yeah, Councilmember Smith?
So if we went diagonal, would that still not have?
That would still not have enough space per the engineer's comments.
And what is, so the shared use path is walking and biking shared use? Okay. There is a walking path a few feet away inside the park. could we not put just a dedicated bike path there? Would we have space for that? And then have the people who walk on the path, the walking path in the park?
Thank you for bringing this up. This is where I'm going to head to. So while we were exploring the options, it was suggested by the professionals, we might consider place the shared use path, the newly proposed shared use path, on the east side of the fence, which will be located within Mackin Park. And with the understanding that there are a lot of people using the walking trail, and they want to distinguish the walking trail from any shared use path, we have proposed to delineate the walking trail into a new location, meaning that we're going to use the existing walking trail, expand it into 10 to 11 feet wide, and to accommodate the shared use path, and build a new walking trail located on the east side of the existing trail, and with proper barriers of landscape and storm drains and the other amenities. So this plan has been, the concept of the plan has been presented to the Parks Board, and we have received comments, concerns, and staff and engineers have accommodated their concerns and comments, and I believe we're at a place we are moving forward with this design with the continuous understanding of we will address those comments in the future. Yes.
What are the concerns of the park board?
And so the comments from the Park Board comes with from different angles. One of them is, are we going to build the trail first before we construct the shared use path, because they don't want the walking trail to be, the functionality of it, they don't want it to be interrupted. And we reassure them, yes, we can work on the construction schedule, make sure we don't close off the existing walking trail till the new walking trail is being placed to minimize the impact to them. And there are concerns about what if and again, there is a preliminary design where this new walking trail will be. So a portion of it is really close to the existing playground by the shelter number 2, I believe. And so there are concerns about what if the children are running toward the shared use path where there are more aggressive traffic, maybe cyclists, and so they have suggested maybe some landscape gardens over there to create some natural barriers, and so we said we can continue working on that point, which is currently not part of the scope of work with our engineers. So likely we will have to defer that for a future landscape plan, but we can reserve that space for, yeah.
Oops. So you have a preliminary design then that you presented to the Parks Board?
That's correct. Mhm.
Can you forward that? Have we already seen that?
I don't believe we have forwarded to the full council member, because that was like more of a conceptual design, and we have actually alternated a portion of it due to the comments from the Parks Board. So we're working to modify it. And
Okay.
Before we move
I
forward
guess if
with
you get that to us at some point in the near future. And then I guess my other question is kind of about the flow of that process. I guess I didn't understand. We took in their comments. And are we going to modify the design and then take it back to the Parks Board to have them reevaluate that again, or are we just
That
going
is
with it?
not my plan at this point. I believe the continuous work that we have with the engineers will address those issues.
Okay.
But if council members have the concern, and it
I guess I
allow-
would say, and that's where people sometimes feel put out on a process like that, where they give feedback, but they don't really have a chance to kind of review what happened with their feedback afterwards to see if it's kind of matching their concerns or not. Because that is where people start feeling like they're just getting
Right.
steamrolled over. Like you did a presentation, to do the presentation becomes the feeling. So I think it might be, unless council disagrees, it might be good to take it back to maybe Parks Board one more time.
We're
and have
happy
them
to do so.
Look at what we're doing. I see Saper's very aggressive pointing at me here. Councilmember Saper, and then I'll get to you. I saw you as well, but I had to get that hand down.
All right, thank you. I would be much more comfortable if there was some actual sign-off, agreement, memorandum of understanding or something with the park board before we pursue this any further, because that's an important impingement
Sure, we
on the
can.
park and on their role to protect the park.
Sure, I think that's a good suggestion. We can definitely bring this back to the Parks Board. The last presentation we made was actually under the parks regular agenda, so it was considered as a agenda discussion item, I would say. There was no voting on it because it was very preliminary in general. We're just bringing the idea over to the Parks Board and see what concerns are, how we can address it, and I believe the comments that has been provided in the summary by the Parks Director, we have addressed large portion of it through our design. So we are happy to bring a more detailed plan back to the Parks Board and make an official vote over from Parks Board if this is the direction that council wants to move forward.
I guess it'd be like a recommendation vote almost, but it would be good to have their, a little bit more stance. I guess one more question, then I'll get to you again. Was there any positive feedback? I know you addressed concerns, but was there any support, I guess, amongst the board on what you had presented so far?
From what I have experienced, and I would not say on behalf of our city administrator, luckily, our city administrator was there with me as well. I thought it was a very productive and a very positive dialogue, from my understanding.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll add in. There were questions for us to look at, of which she was mentioned that we're also having the engineers look at to kind of as part of the estimates, also with the project. But yes, the general feeling, and I won't step on Vic's toes, but was that this was a good project and to move forward, but to answer the questions they had.
Yeah.
So of course the first thing, like Shu was saying, this is the kind of preliminary conceptual design. Our next step is to start tying costs to it or estimates. But as far as the design, we wanted to get, because it had now been talked about moving it inside the fence in the park, we wanted to get the park board's thoughts on that, because we knew that's something drastically different than the 2020 plan. So we did that. Went well, but now is to kind of tighten it up and get some estimates and go back to them.
Okay.
And then, of course, all of you as
Doing
well.
nothing else until I call on you here. Councilmember Smith.
Okay. So this one it's a little confusing because we had the Howell Street plan. It was kind of laid out north-south, and then this is the first we've heard in a while about it, and we're moving forward with an entirely new plan. And I understand that this is kind of playing hopscotch with the line between parks jurisdiction and city council jurisdiction. But I live right where we're talking, so I go through that area a lot. I'm sort of confused why we would take it into the park when there's a sidewalk that's literally there's the parking spaces, there's a sidewalk and then a fence, and that sidewalk is almost never used because if people are walking, they're walking on the path that's soft and specifically made for walking. And so that space between the parking spaces and the fence, how wide is that? Do we know?
So we do have an engineering staked plan over there to show us what is the measurement over there.
Mm-hmm.
So keep in mind, the sidewalk was built all the way to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
So the sidewalk is on average about 3 feet wide. And then the bumpers for the perpendicular parkings, the on-street parkings, are pretty much placed all the way to the curb as well. So typically you can experience this as well. There's bumper handover to the sidewalk. Could it be extended out to a foot or a foot and a half? This is how I experienced it, and I have taken pictures of that. So this sidewalk was not largely used for the purpose of a transportation component. And then beyond the sidewalk, there is a very linear landscape area between the sidewalk and the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's on average about 5 foot wide. That's where most of the utility posts are. If you see there are strains and posts and some of the, maybe transmission box over there as well. So if we were to do the shared use path and give its full width of about 10 foot, we'll have to absolutely move all the utility components over there. And first question is, where are we going to place the utility components?
What if it's just bikes, not walking as well? If it's just a two-way bike path, how wide does that have to be?
A two-way bike path? Typically, that's still about 10 foot wide.
It's 10 feet, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then, again, even if you move all the utilities, likely you'll still have to tailor the existing parking area to accommodate the enough width that's designed per today's requirements. So, and again, in the 2020's Bike Master Plan, that was a very conceptual design, and that was placed as a, I believe, appendix over there at that time. Unluckily, I don't have the knowledge of how much of the public engagement was done through this particular project. But it is till now when we finally got the survey and the engineering measurements that we know that the conceptual design would not work without a significant amount of change. And we're choosing the least resistant path at this point to bring us a product that hopefully can benefit everybody with the minimum cost to us. Any other questions? I'm sorry, Mike, I try to get this down in 30 seconds. I was not successful today.
Councilmember Snyder.
This is going to seem like a tiny thing, but I think that the walking path right now is exactly a mile. Is that right, Victoria?
That is correct.
So I'm guessing that it's not going to be, or are you doing some
We're going to do a
different
little,
maneuvers to make
we're
it
going to make
exact?
sure it's still a mile. minimum.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of a big deal to people that.
It is.
they
That's
use
another
it
thing
for
we
that,
heard.
Yeah.
Right. We absolutely heard about that comment, so we'll make sure there will actually still be a mile over there. I learned a lot of facts over for this project. I caught there was a spiritual bench, and Victoria told me and educated me a lot of history. I thought it was interesting about this project, and so I appreciate all the knowledge that you all have. And like I said, our goal here is not to do an arbitrary cut over to the park. Our goal is to make sure that we can still achieve what we wanted to with everybody's understanding. And so I'm happy to bring this back to the park once when we get a little more detail of the estimated cost and the more nailed down design like our city administrator mentioned.
You look like you had more, but okay, good. We good for now?
We're good now. Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
Any other updates? That was your one? Okay, there we go. Thank you. And that, you said that was the only one. All right. Councilmember Snyder.
For the first council member comments, I just wanted to say a big thank you to the city residents and the city staff. This is my last council member comments. I'll be popping in 2 weeks to verify the election results. I did not run again, in case people out there didn't know. My kids are just at an age where they're doing school sports, and stuff is happening at 6 and 7 and 8 o'clock. So I'm stepping away. I have 100% full faith and confidence in Lindsay McGrone, who's going to be taking my seat. I'm very excited for her. And again, I just want to say a huge thank you. It's been a real honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Smith.
So congrats to Lindsay on the impending joining of the council. The real fun starts next week for you. Valerie, thank you for bringing up the beautification day to take those steps. It shows that even if you're not like an official member of the council or anything, you can still do positive things in the community. So thank you for setting that example, and I look forward to cleaning up stuff on the 27th. And then, as expected, I have some things to say on the gun control matter. I'm not going to rant about the legislature this time as I have in the past, but I will say, in the vein of doing the small things that we can, I'm going to set up a community meeting sometime in the coming week. I had a time and date picked out, but there's something on my calendar that I didn't expect to see. So I'm gonna make that announcement sometime on social media to set up a meeting to discuss what can we do as a community, since the legislature seems unwilling to act. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you. Malcolm Fitzgerald, he's not here. Councilmember Alvarez.
Yeah, I just want to say also thank you to, well, first of all, let me say thank you to Lisa for your service over the past couple, 2 years, 4 years. Thanks. Yes, it's been a pleasure working with you, and congratulations to Lindsay for joining the city council. So good job. Also, thank you, Valerie, for coming up with the idea on April 27th. I think that'd be a great thing for the neighborhood. Also want to say congratulations to always have to remind for the dispatchers to recognize them for Telecommunications Week. That's next week. So we appreciate all the work that they do. So I'm glad they do have a week to acknowledge their service. And I think that was it. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Good
Yeah,
end
more
this.
of the same. Congrats again to Lindsay. Thank you, Lisa Schneider, for your exemplary membership of the council all these years. We are going to miss you. I'm sure you'll attend lots of council meetings after this time. And Valerie, thank you so much for bringing that forward. I think the City Beautification Day is a great idea. I imagine my neighbors will be delighted for my yard as well as theirs. So thanks for lighting a fire under our tushes. That's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Stokes.
As promised, thank you again to Councilperson Schneider for your service. Parks and Rec always has great things going on. Bonanzas this weekend, summer camp signups, kids t-ball, baseball, seniors activities, always something amazing with Parks and Rec. Check out their calendar. And that's all.
There we go. Thank you, Councilmember Todd.
Yeah, a couple of random things that I'm just going to mention because I can, I guess, to support local businesses. So one is Little Store. I don't know if everybody's been out to the new Little Store yet. It's great, love it, owned by people who are just around the corner from there. And they are going to be changing their coffee soon, so be on the lookout for that. And then also, I don't know if everyone's familiar with Myco Planet. It is an urban mushroom farm. They're right on Burlington. You see the sign when you drive by, but I want our residents to know that they also have a storefront that is open Monday through Wednesday. So you can actually just go in Monday through Wednesday and purchase mushrooms if you would like to. Lots of varieties. I am planning to go and get some lion's mane mushrooms of my own very soon. So make sure you do that. Aside from that, I mean, just reiterating all the comments here, looking forward to Beautification Day. I'm very excited to hear that. And just all these small things that I think we're doing with the legislative priorities, Jesse having a meeting, and Ren, if you're listening, you know, these are the small things that you're asking for to just, any small things we can do. And just, I think, small things done well go a long way to build community. And when we build community, that's another way to just build that sense of safety and security as well. So proud to be part of the city. And Lisa, I certainly reiterate all those comments as well. I just really have, especially being my first year on council, I have really just grown from your insight. And I feel like all of your thoughts and comments and work is so inspiring to me and to so many others. And I just really appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Saber.
Councilmember Schneider and I joined the council at the same time, and over those years, we've sometimes agreed, often disagreed, but we were never disagreeable. We were always willing to move forward, and I think that's an important aspect of any functioning body, city council or anything else. Agreements, disagreements, but always be agreeable.
How do you follow that? That's a good way to put it. We need some more of that in governing every once in a while. Yeah, thank you for that. Congratulations to the recently re-elected and newly elected as well. I'm excited to have all of you back that are re-elected and the new member as well. So, and you can never have enough beautification days, that is for sure. And I was out, well, it's fighting with the printer. Was there a location on that beautification day? Is there like an origination point, or was that already stated in the? It's just kind of an open, wherever. Okay, open community event, April 27th. There you go. So thank you for that as well. Other than that, I'm done. What else we got?
Item 25, consideration of a request to hold in recess into an executive session as requested by the city councilor to be held on this date on a potential litigation matter pursuant to Missouri Revised Statutes, Section 610.0211.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, Katie did that. Hold on.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Schneider,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yep.
Councilmember Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Stokes,
Yes.
Councilmember Todd,
Yes.
Councilmember Safer.
Yes.
Number 26, consideration of a request to hold and recess into an executive session as requested by the mayor to be held on this date on a personnel matter pursuant to Missouri Revised Statute, Section 610.0213.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Schneider,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yep.
Councilmember Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Stokes,
Yes.
Councilmember Todd.
Yes.
Councilmember Saper.
Yes.
Number 27, consideration of a request to hold and recess into an executive session as requested by the city administrator to be held on this date on a personnel matter pursuant to Missouri Revised Statute, Section 610.0213.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Schneider,
Yes.
Councilmember
Yes.
Smith, Councilmember Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Stokes,
Yes.
Councilmember Todd, Councilmember Saper.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. I got one more piece. With that, the live stream will be cutting off, channel 2, YouTube. No more further business will be discussed tonight. Thank you. More public. I was ready to walk off.